The gentleman.
We're happy to accept the gentleman from Idaho to be from Ohio.
Indeed.
I'd rather have Ohio come to Idaho.
The gentleman from Idaho is recognized.
I thank the chairman for yielding. Having been a former chairman of this committee and either ranking member or chairman for the last 9 years, I guess, you know, when I left, people asked me repeatedly, what kind of chairman will Mr. Fleshman be of this committee? Whether it was people from the Idaho National Lab or from PNNL or other places. I told him I thought he'd be a great chairman. And this is why. He cares about the Department of Energy's lab complex. Not just Oak Ridge, which he represents, but all of the labs throughout the complex. He's been to a lot of them and visited them and found out what they do. And he cares about nuclear energy, which is important to me and important to him also, and many other aspects within the Department of Energy. So I thought he would be a great chairman, and he's done a masterful job of putting this bill together. This bill contains many things that are vitally important to the future of this country, whether it's nuclear power or fusion energy, as we've talked about, or the next generation reactors that are going to be developed, whether it's high-speed computing, and Oak Ridge is probably the leader in high-speed computing. All other agencies kind of depend on the Department of Energy's high-speed computing to do work for them. Whether it's cybersecurity, a lot of that is done at the Idaho National Lab and at other laboratories. Whether it's renewable energy in the NNL or the facility in Colorado. All of those things are important. What a lot of people forget about this bill is that about a third of it, 36, 38%, something like that, is defense part of this bill, NNSA. Whether it's the non-pro that was mentioned by the ranking member, whether it's the defense cleanup portion of it, whether it's the weapons modernization program, or whether it's the part that I kind of like, and that's the naval reactors program. You know, when they started the naval reactors program at the Idaho National Laboratory, when they fueled the first submarine with nuclear energy, it lasted about 18 months, and then they had to refuel it. Because of the work they've done out there, we now fuel ships for the life of the ship. That's an amazing process that they've done, and it's because of the work that's been done by the NNSA. But that's just on the energy side of this bill, and we could talk about that for a long time. The other important part of this bill is the water part of it. It is energy and water. The Army Corps of Engineers is funded through this bill. Whether they do the dredging for our ports or for our waterways throughout this country, or whether it's the Bureau of Reclamation. I will tell you, every member of Congress, I believe, has a Department of Army Corps of Engineers project within their district. So this bill is important to them. So I think the chairman has done a masterful job of putting this bill together. But I enjoy listening to my colleagues, and they are good friends. We have worked together for many years, both Chairwoman DeLauro or whether it's Ranking Member Capter, who used to be chairman of this committee also, and it goes back and forth. But we've worked together in a cordial way. But I enjoy their conversation where we haven't spent enough money on this bill. And they've talked about how we could spend more money in certain areas to address certain things and that kind of stuff. The one thing they didn't mention when they were talking about the fact that we need more money in these bills is the $33 trillion deficit we have. And I will guarantee you it is easier to write bills when you're just expanding spending and you've got more money than you know what to do with, to throw at all the different bills, which has been the way it's been for the last couple of years. And if they didn't have enough money, they took things out and made it emergency spending. And we're having to deal with that. It is more difficult to write a bill where you got to actually reduce spending. And I think everyone in our conference on this side of the aisle realizes that we have to reduce spending if we're ever going to address the $33 trillion debt. It's just a small part of it, but it's an important part of it. And so that's what we're trying to do in a responsible manner. And that's what Chairman Fleshman has done in a responsible manner. I find it kind of curious that as I've heard the ranking member and the chairwoman of the ranking member of the full committee talk, They've talked about we got to spend all this more money because families are struggling. And then they say, this is the best economy we've had in years and years. Which one is it? I don't understand. It's both? Interesting. When can we address the debt and deficit in this bill? You'll get a chance. It is a challenge that we face, but again, I congratulate the chairman of the subcommittee for his work on this, and I also would be remiss if I didn't say something about the staff. They've done a fantastic job. They work incredible hours to get these bills ready for the floor, and they've done a good job in this one too, and I congratulate them and thank them for their work.
The gentleman from Tennessee is recognized.
Once again, I thank the distinguished gentleman from Idaho. And Mr. Chairman, I